Welcome to the African News Update on Top Accolade News. The headlines: South Africa takes G20 Presidency. 19 dead in violent clash outside Chad's presidential palace. Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger set to exit ECOWAS. Shell writes of $400 million over unviable oil discovery offshore Namibia. In politics, South Africa takes G20 presidency. South Africa has officially assumed the presidency of the G20 for 2025, becoming the first African nation to lead the trillion-dollar bloc. President Cyril Ramaphosa emphasized the country's focus on debt relief, climate change, and international justice, aiming to put African and global South development priorities at the forefront. With the G20 summit set to take place in November, Pretoria's leadership comes at a challenging time as the country grapples with economic stagnation and political uncertainty. However, Ramaphosa remains optimistic, highlighting the potential for infrastructure growth and job creation throughout the year. Key issues such as debt relief and climate change are expected to dominate the agenda, positioning South Africa as a key voice in global discussions. Still in politics, 19 dead in violent clash outside Chad's presidential palace. In a violent confrontation in Chad, at least 19 people have been killed after armed attackers attempted to storm the presidential complex. Security forces intervened, killing 18 of the 24 assailants, which one security officers lost his life in the clash. Chad's government has assured the public that the situation is now under control, with Foreign Minister affirming that the president is safe and soldiers are guarding the compound. This attack comes just hours after Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with the president, raising concern about Chad's security situation, especially after a recent election aimed at restoring democracy was conducted. Moving on in politics, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger set to exit ECOWAS. Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger are set to officially exit the West African ECOWAS bloc later this month, 1 year after announcing their withdrawal. The countries led by military juntas have criticized ECOWAS for failing to secure regional security and accused the bloc of bowing to foreign influence. ECOWAS has been working to convince the nations to remain, but rising anti-French sentiment in the region, compounded by Nigeria's diplomatic ties with France, threatens to complicate negotiations. As the Sahel states face growing economic and security challenges, analysts warn that tensions between Nigeria and the departing nations could escalate, further undermining regional unity. Shifting focus to economy, Shell writes of $400 million over unviable oil discovery offshore Namibia. Shell has announced a $400 million write-off following its decision to halt plans for commercial development of an oil discovery offshore Namibia. Despite initial excitement from Shell, Qatar Energy, and Namibia's national oil company over the 2022 find in offshore block PEL-39, technical and geological challenges, including high natural gas content and difficult rock permeability, have made the project commercially unfeasible. The write-off is a blow to Namibia's ambition to become a crude producer, despite other recent discoveries by companies like Total Energies and Galp. Shell also plans a $300 million write-off related to exploration licenses in Colombia. You are watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Still in economy, Kenya faces economic strain. Kenya is grappling with severe economic challenges, with President William Ruto's economic advisor Moses Kuria admitting that the nation is struggling to meet its financial obligations. Kuria highlighted the country's high debt, pension commitments and subsidies stretching its resources. The country's economic growth has also slowed significantly, with third quarter growth in 2024 dipping to 4% from 6% in the same period last year. The construction and mining sectors have contracted, and cuts on road construction have further strained the economy. Korea emphasized that the only solution to Kenya's fiscal crisis is a strong partnership with the private sector to drive development, as the government's fiscal space remains increasingly constrained. Moving to security. U.S. sanctions Sudanese RSF leader for genocide. The United States has accused the Sudanese paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces of committing genocide during the ongoing conflict, imposing sanctions on its leader, Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken stated that the RSF's action, including mass killing, sexual violence, and targeting of civilians, amounted to systematic atrocities. In response, the leader's advisor criticized the sanction, calling them a failure of U.S. policy and a hindrance to peace efforts. The U.S. also imposed sanctions on RSF-linked companies, many tied to Sudan's lucrative gold trade, as the country grapples with one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world. Moving to entertainment, John DUMELO dismisses calls for creative industry player. In a recent interview, Ghanaian actor and politician John DUMELO dismissed calls for stakeholders in the creative sector for the position of Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture to be held by a creative industry player. DUMELO, while understanding the concerns of his colleagues, believed that the ministry should be led by someone with a vision to drive the sector forward, not necessarily a creative. He emphasized that the role requires a person who understands the policy and welfare needs of the industry, regardless of their background. DUMELO's comments come amid renewed calls for more representation in top government positions, following a history of sector appointments under previous administrations. Now in sports, EMMANUEL Adebayor reflects on 2010 Togo bus attack. EMMANUEL Adebayor, former Togo national team captain, has opened up about the harrowing 2010 bus attack that still impacts him today. As he and his teammate traveled to the African Cup of Nations in Angola, their bus was ambushed by militants, leaving 2 dead and others seriously injured. In the midst of the chaos, Adebayor feared for his life, calling his pregnant partner and asking her to name their child Junior Emmanuel or Princess Emanuela in case he didn't survive. Reflecting on the traumatic event, Adebayor shared how it changed his outlook on life, teaching them to embrace every moment. Despite seeking psychological support, the scars of that day remain, a constant reminder of the fragility of life. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.